Good morning. I'm Senator Kemp Hannon. It's the 6th Senatorial District right here in the heart of Nassau County that goes east to west from Farmingdale to Franklin Square. And I'm joined this morning by several members of the business community here in Nassau County who are all basically small businesses who are adversely affected by the tax policy of this state over the past 2 years. Now, we're going to focus in on the MTA tax, but there are many other taxes that have been imposed, in fact, 124 of them over 2 years. Some of the most egregious of these taxes are, one of the ones is the ending of the sales tax exemption for clothing under $110 in value. That ends the end of this month, so that people who thought they would get a benefit and the people who are lower income scale, they're cut, they're hit. On the other end of the scale, just to lead to the uncertainty this tax policy has led to, is the fact that a huge business tax credit for the bigger corporations, where businesses have invested $3 billion and will get credit for that, credit's been just suspended. It's just like Lucy taking the football away, Charlie Brown trying to kick it. No, you can't take it. You're going to have to wait another 3 or 4 years. Another part of the uncertainty that's going about with the taxation. We have seen that the MTA tax itself is going to cost Nassau County residents about $110 million a year, Suffolk residents about $90 million a year. The difficulty with all of this, it hurts jobs, it cuts into job creation, it cuts into the economy. It's a tax that keeps on giving. You pay it, whatever you do. You pay it if you buy a newspaper. That little store has to pay that on its payroll. If the owner is self-employed, they have to pay it as a self-employed tax. It goes for television, cable, gas, electric. Each one of the taxing entities, such as the county, the town of Hempstead, the school districts are supposed to get it reimbursed, but they really don't. So this is a tax that keeps on giving, and it hurts folks. And it was supposed to be a tax that would prevent fare hikes. The last 2 weeks, you know that we've had hearings on fare hikes. Another part of the bad part of this tax, whether a company is making money or not making money, they have to pay this tax. So if somebody wants to start out and start a new business, start a new enterprise, it is something that deters that start. Now, joining us today are a number of people who have very, very significant stories to tell you. I'm not going to keep on talking. I'm going to ask Rich Pavone, who's head of the Nassau Business Council, to come forward, do the introductions, and we can move from there. Rich?
Senator, thank you. Just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, that we're in survival mode right now. The MTA tax, from the moment that it was passed, is crippling Long Island small businesses. It's crippling everybody. Not only do we pay it in our small businesses, we pay it through our homeowners, our county, our town, our school. Basically, what we believe is the MTA is out of control. And this survival in these economic times is very hard. To have this tax added to what we now have to do on a daily basis to survive is just unbelievable. We believe in anyone that is willing to step up to the plate and stand behind the small business owners. And we'd like to thank Senator Hannon for doing that, because we know how important it is for us as small business owners to create economic development, and we thank you. And next we have Bill Schoolman, who would like to speak, who owns a bus company and is also actually taking the state on this issue.
Thank you, Rich. Morning. My name is Bill Schoolman. I'm the CEO of Hampton Luxury Liner and Classic Coach, and I'm the one that started the first lawsuit against the MTA. I have a prepared statement, and I want to make sure I get it accurate. The MTA payroll tax is the epitome of what's wrong with New York State's dysfunctional, corrupt government. Recent studies by reputable business schools report that New York State is first in business failures and last in business startups. Newsweek magazine recently gave New York State equal billing with Illinois as the most corrupt state in the U.S. The magazine The Economist, here's a quote, Dysfunctional Albany is frequently cited as the nation's worst state government, a title for which there is intense competition. Close quote. That's quite a comment. The MTA payroll tax is a corrupt tax because it supports and subsidizes a corrupt New York State governmental unit, namely the MTA. Nobody, and absolutely nobody, burns taxpayer dollars better than the MTA. The tax was enacted because very few New York State legislators represent taxpayers in Albany. In December 2009, my motor coach companies, Hampton Luxury Liner and Classic Coach, we sued the MTA and New York State government in order to have this corrupt tax annulled. And possibly you've noticed already, since I did it, 8 municipalities, including Nassau County, Suffolk County, Putnam, and Rockland, have copied our lawsuit virtually word for word and sued also the MTA. I would just like to cover some of the worst examples that I've looked at over the last 15 years of both corrupt criminality and just dysfunctional fiscal irresponsibility on the part of the MTA. And by the way, the chairman, Jay Walder, recently gave a quote, and he said, quote, "This is not a situation we've created," close quote. And I say, really, Jay? Is that so? Nothing could be further from the truth. $2.3 billion in excessive salary expense above the standard. $20 million in the middle of the recession spent for an employee lounge at Grand Central Station for engineers and conductors, some making as much as $283,000 a year and a $10,000 a month pension. How about $7 million for a doghouse in Dutchess County? And then the worst was their headquarters, number 2 Broadway, going from $140 million to $845 million, which resulted in criminal charges, jail time, and hundreds of millions of dollars of taxpayer dollars wasted. And I could go on and on and on, but that's enough.